Sex is meditation. This statement from the ancient Stoics has surprised many, and even offended some. But to truly understand this teaching, we need to explore what the Stoics meant by sex, meditation, and the nature of their philosophy. In today's episode, we will delve into the depths of this intriguing idea and discover how it can enrich our understanding of both sexuality and spirituality. To begin, let's look at where this idea originated. The Stoics were a group of philosophers who lived in ancient Greece and Rome, known for their teachings on virtue, wisdom, and living in harmony with nature. They believed that the key to happiness lay in accepting the things we cannot change and focusing on the things we can control. The idea of sex as meditation first appeared in the works of Musonius Rufus, a Roman Stoic philosopher who lived in the 1st century AD. In one of his letters, he discusses the idea of using sexual intercourse as a form of self-control and discipline. He writes, "When you are about to have sexual intercourse, say to yourself, 'I am now about to engage in a battle with lust.' And when you have overcome your lust, you will find yourself to be more temperate." Another Stoic, Epictetus, also touches on this idea in his discourses. He says, "If you can be master of yourself, you can be master of anything." In this quote, he is emphasizing the importance of self-control and the idea that if one can control their desires and passions, they can achieve mastery over any situation. So what exactly did the Stoics mean when they talked about sex as meditation? It's important to note that the Stoics were not advocating for frequent or casual sex. Rather, they were talking about sex within the context of marriage and as a way to practice self-control and emotional resilience. For the Stoics, sex was seen as a natural and healthy part of life, something to be embraced rather than shunned. However, they believed that it should be approached with a clear mind and a sense of purpose. In other words, sex should not be about giving in to base desires, but rather a way to cultivate virtue and wisdom. This might sound confusing, so let's break it down. First, let's talk about sex. The Stoics weren't naive. They knew that sex was a powerful and primal force. In fact, they recognized the importance of sexual desire as a natural human drive. But they also understood that this desire could be overwhelming and even dangerous if left unchecked. Think of the countless individuals who make poor decisions, sometimes even life-altering ones, all because they acted on uncontrolled sexual urges. In today's world, we see people sacrificing their values, dignity, and even futures for momentary sexual gratification. The Stoics knew this and wanted to find a way to harness this powerful energy in a positive way. So how did they do it? The answer lies in the concept of meditation. Meditation is a practice that has been around for centuries, used by various cultures and religions to achieve different goals. But at its core, meditation is about training the mind to focus on the present moment without judgment or distraction. When we meditate, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without reacting to them. We become more aware of our inner selves and develop a sense of calm and clarity. Now, the Stoics believed that this same practice could be applied to sex. Imagine engaging in sexual activity with a heightened sense of awareness and control. Instead of being consumed by blind passion, you are present in the moment, fully aware of your body and your partner. You are not driven by base desires, but by a conscious choice to connect with your partner on a deeper level. This is what the Stoics meant by sex as meditation. By approaching sex with a focused and disciplined mind, one can transform the experience into a form of self-reflection and personal growth. But why was this important to them? For the Stoics, everything in life should serve as a path to wisdom and self-mastery. They saw sex as an opportunity to practice emotional resilience and self-control. By engaging in sex with a clear mind, one could avoid being overwhelmed by lust or desire. This in turn would lead to a deeper understanding of one's self and one's place in the universe. Moreover, the Stoics believed that true happiness came from living in harmony with nature, and this included accepting one's natural desires and impulses. However, they also believed that these impulses should be guided by reason and not allowed to consume us. Sex, like everything else in life, should be approached with a sense of balance and moderation. It's also important to note that the Stoics were not opposed to pleasure. In fact, they believed that pleasure could be a source of wisdom and self-knowledge. However, they distinguished between healthy and unhealthy pleasures. Unhealthy pleasures are those that are excessive or pursued for their own sake. On the other hand, Healthy pleasures are those that are in moderation and contribute to the greater good. The Stoics believed that through practicing self-control and embracing natural desires in a balanced way, one could achieve a state of eudaimonia, which is often translated as happiness or flourishing. It's clear that the Stoics had a unique perspective on sex. They recognized its power and potential pitfalls, but also its natural and even spiritual aspects. Their view of sex as meditation offers a compelling way to think about sexuality as an opportunity for self-growth and self-mastery. But how can we apply this idea to our own lives? In today's world, sex is often viewed as a purely physical act or as a means to pleasure. The Stoic perspective challenges us to look beyond these conventional views and consider the deeper meaning and potential of sex as a spiritual practice. By approaching sex with a sense of mindfulness and intention, we can transform it into an experience that brings us closer to ourselves and our partners. Of course, this is easier said than done. Overcoming ingrained habits and societal norms is a challenging task, but the Stoics believed that with practice and dedication, anyone could achieve mastery over their emotions and desires. Moreover, the Stoics did not advocate for a life devoid of pleasure. They simply wanted their followers to pursue pleasure in a balanced and mindful way. In fact, they believed that experiencing pleasure was essential to truly understanding and appreciating life. By incorporating this idea of healthy pleasure into our lives, we can find a balance between self-discipline and self-care. It's also important to recognize that this Stoic perspective on sex is just one among many. Different cultures and religions have their own beliefs and practices surrounding sexuality, and it's crucial to respect and understand these differences. The Stoics were not trying to impose their beliefs on others, but rather sharing their own experiences and insights. Ultimately, the decision of how to approach sex is a personal one, but by exploring different perspectives like that of the Stoics, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our sexuality. Perhaps the most important takeaway from this discussion is the Stoic emphasis on living a life of purpose and meaning. Whether or not one chooses to engage in sexual activity, it's essential to live a life that is guided by wisdom, self-mastery, and a sense of connection with something greater than oneself. As we continue to explore the complexities of human sexuality in today's world, it's helpful to look back at the insights of ancient philosophies like Stoicism. Their ideas challenge us to move beyond superficial views of sex and consider its deeper spiritual and psychological dimensions. So the next time you hear someone say that sex is meditation, you'll know that there's more to the statement than meets the eye. It's an invitation to explore the rich history and wisdom of Stoicism, and to consider how ancient philosophies can guide us in navigating the complexities of modern life. And with that, we come to the end of another episode. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, we invite you to leave your comments and thoughts below. Your feedback is valuable and helps us create more engaging content for you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on our latest episodes. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, may your life be filled with wisdom, self-mastery, and a sense of connection with the world around you.